I believe the Carolina Panthers are going to go 4-12 in 2020. And saying the words 4-12, it breaks my heart. I hope I'm wrong. Although I will say that getting a high draft pick will help out the Carolina Panthers moving forward. Panthers owner David Tepper is very clearly rebuilding. He brought in a new head coach, Matt Rule. And dude, I love Matt Rule. He's one of my favorite coaches in the NFL. I find him incredibly compelling, the way he talks, what he's done in the past, the way he carries himself, everything. Like, can I come play for Matt Rule? I know I've got no value to the Carolina Panthers as a player in any capacity. But I would kill to be around Matt Rule. He's seems like a good dude and a great coach. He hired an awesome offensive coordinator, Joe Brady, who is the guy that coached Joe Burrow at LSU. Joe Brady, the Panthers offensive coordinator, he's just a wizard at creating really good matchups. And I want to revisit Matt Rule for a second because he has just proven over and over again that he is the king of turning around programs, where he took Temple from 2 wins to 10 wins in 4 years. He took Baylor from a 1-win season to an 11-win season in just 3 years. So the process of turning things around is happening in Carolina with the Panthers, and I like what's going on. I think it's the right move for them. I'm excited to watch the progression of Carolina, even if this year it's not going to be pretty. Now, part of the process of rebuilding meant they had to tear down what they already had and what they had before. And as a result of that, the Panthers got rid of their quarterback, Cam Newton. And I got to say that I think Cam Newton's better off with the New England Patriots this year, where he's going to have a better time. He's going to win more games in New England. I don't think Cam Newton really would have liked being a part of the rebuilding process, and I don't think the Panthers wanted to rebuild around Cam Newton. It was time for them to break up. I think it was a good breakup. They both kind of won in this situation where the Panthers got to move on and start fresh, and Cam Newton gets to go have a lot of fun, I hope, in New England. Tight end Greg Olsen was let go as well. He's kind of these are franchise cornerstone players where Cam Newton is gone. Greg Olsen is gone. Also, even linebacker Luke Kuechly retired. The Panthers are just completely starting fresh. Now, their new starting quarterback is Teddy Bridgewater, a guy that he doesn't throw an amazing ball. He's kind of got an average arm. He's average athletically. But I will say, to Teddy Bridgewater's credit, he's a very good decision maker. He's really good between the ears. I like him as a decision maker. And what Teddy Bridgewater gives to Carolina, for however long he's our starting quarterback, it could be a couple of years, it could be this year, it could be part of this year. I have no idea how long the Teddy Bridgewater thing's going to last in Carolina. But for however long he is their quarterback, whether it's long-term or not, he's going to bring consistency and stability at the position of quarterback for Carolina. They're going to really appreciate that about him, is that he is consistent and a good decision maker. Now, the backup quarterbacks are actually very interesting as well. They have P.J. Walker, a former XFL star. I love P.J. Walker. He lit it up in the XFL for the Houston Roughnecks. It was so much fun. But I also got to say, this does surprise me, I would not write off Will Grier, the guy from West Virginia. He's entering his second year in the NFL. He played 2 games as a rookie last year. And look, let's be honest, Will Grier was awful last year. However, I got to say, I was really, really impressed with the way that he showed a lot of self-awareness this offseason. Like, he owned up to his shortcomings, and he seems to be working hard. And I think it's cool when a guy can say, yeah, I was bad, and I wasn't playing to my standard, and I got to do better. And it seems like he's working really hard. And I find that really interesting and compelling. The Panthers obviously have a superstar running back, Christian McCaffrey. Everyone knows who he is. They have 2 receivers I like. They have DJ Moore, and they brought in a new speedy deep threat from New York, Robbie Anderson. The Panthers' offensive line is not terrible. It's kind of in a process of, it's a work in progress. They're rebuilding everything. The problem is, I look at the Panthers, and I like what they're doing to some degree. They're building some good stuff. The problem is they got some really tough matchups, both the offenses they play and the defensive lines they play. The offensive line is going to be up against some really good defensive players. And then the defense. So they have a new defensive tackle, Derek Brown. He was the 7th overall pick in the NFL draft. They signed a corner, Eli Apple, from New Orleans. Otherwise, there's not a lot of names that I find interesting or that I care about very much. The Panthers are rebuilding their defense. And unfortunately, they play against three really, really great quarterbacks. Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, Tom Brady. Oh, and by the way, really good receivers on all three of those teams. And so I don't think that they're going to win a lot of games this year. That makes me sad because I like what they're doing. I think it's the beginning of a rebuilding process. But I do expect some competitive games. They might go 4-12, but it's going to be very interesting, very competitive, very compelling 4-12. Because even if this team loses a lot of games, they're going to fight really hard, fight till the end. That's what I see from the Carolina Panthers this year. Not a very good, high winning year, but a year of growth, a year of rebuilding. And I do like the direction where the Carolina Panthers are headed long term. I like their coach. I like what they have at quarterback right now. They're doing the right stuff. They just got to understand that the process of rebuilding takes a while. It took Matt Rule 4 years to get Temple from a 2-win team to a 10-win team. It takes a lot of time. 3 years at Baylor. I want to see where the Panthers are in 3 or 4 years, but I'm not going to judge them for their future on what happens this year because I understand this year in Carolina is a year of rebuilding. Because the Panthers are rebuilding and they're making progress, I find it sad that the Panthers play Atlanta week 4 and week 8. I got to wonder if the Panthers played the Falcons at the end of the year instead of in the first 8 games. Because by the end of the year, you got to understand the Panthers are going to be a different, better football team. And so I wish they played Atlanta later in the year. Maybe they could beat Atlanta if they had time to get better by week 16 or 17 and play Atlanta at the end of the year. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen, but I got to say what's on my mind there is that you got to understand the Panthers are going to be better week 17 than they are week 1.